Millets in town are selling the MSF gas cartridges, 8 cans for £10, which that's a similar sort of price to this brand here, which I picked up at Home Bargains for £4, 4 cans for £5 from B&M. Probably as cheap as you'll get unless you want to go to a boot sale and get your gas. I can't see any difference in the construction of these cans. Exactly the same, both made in Korea, exactly the same welds. Big difference being that the camping gas is isobutane, so it'll behave better at low temperatures. Summer at the moment. I've seen these going for £4 each. It's ridiculous, the markup that camping gas give their gas. Robbing bastards. Also found these in pound stretchers, 4 cans for £4. I use a bistro stove out of convenience really. It works out slightly more expensive than getting a big cylinder, but I was toting around a great big cylinder before and I just don't really want to do that. And if you shop around, they're about £1 each and they last about 3-4 days for me. I'm drinking coffee a lot. You can store them in a box under your sink. You don't need a drop vent so they don't leak. Oh, van's full of flies. Go away, cows, you're bringing the flies in. There's a cow here. Had a bit of a clean up of the van. The floor was starting to look a bit minging. So I've cleared the floor and given it a good old scrub. I helped family move house a little while ago. I was able to borrow a corner of the storage unit, great big shipping container, just to clear my under the bed area, all the tools and materials that I'm just not getting around to using, rather than carrying it around. So I've got a nice clear floor. This is for people who are planning a build or sort of halfway through a build and they're deciding what needs to go in the van and what doesn't need to go in the van. I've put more into the van than I actually use or need. I'll give you some examples. I could have done without the monitor, could have done without the PC. I keep the PC anyway. The van's full of flies. It's a 12 volt socket, but it runs at 19 volts by way of a DC to DC converter that I've got in my electricity cupboard. That powers the monitor. I've got in the back 4 USB sockets. I use none of them. So I've got 2 on this side. Ah, flies! The van's full of flies because I'm over by the cows, and because the cows have left, the flies are just going for the next available thing, which is me. Another 2 USB sockets, 2 12 volt sockets. I use an extension lead because I've got a fast charger for my phone. If you should upgrade your phone at some point, then you're going to want to plug it into something that will charge your phone quick and not take 8 hours to do. If you've already got car chargers for your phone, just put in 12 volt sockets. The lighting is really good for recording video. You'd probably want something a lot less excessive than this, because I normally only put on this light here. The USB speaker that I charge up while I'm driving, I stick that in the cab. I used to have 2 USB sockets down there. I swapped that out for a 12 volt socket so I can use my fast charger. Over here I have 2 USB sockets and I use those for charging up my devices while I'm driving. I've got a split charge relay and a solar charge controller. I don't use the solar charge controller because I don't have a panel on the roof. I will do eventually, but at the moment I'm driving enough. I use lights and charge my phone. All my other devices I charge while I'm driving. My batteries are pretty much hovering around the 13 volts, my leisure batteries, so I can probably park up for a good few days without having to drive anywhere. Although I've not used it enough, I've not parked up long enough to even test that. My excessive insulation, ceiling, walls, floor, doors, above the cab, everywhere, it's really thick and it does take up all my headroom. The hottest it's ever been in the back of the van is 27 degrees. And I'm seeing people, their vans are up in the 30s. I just have to put the metallic things across the windscreen and the side windows, crack the back door, occasionally put the fan on just to cycle the air. It's fine. What you think you need, you might not. That's all I'd say. I'm still using the green bucket double bag method. So the chod drops into the bag while I'm pointing my plonker into a bottle. That is the local dog bin people probably think there's some massive dog going around. The wee goes under a tree, under a bush. I'm giving back to nature. At the moment, nature's trying to give back to me. I have nature's bountiful harvest of flies. Get out! Ugh.